And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the land, a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. I'm Ethan Greenberg, and joining me is my co-host, Mike Rasinski. Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. School just started this week, so the kids are
Oh,
fully engaged.
no.
I'd like to say we have more time back, but I think we actually have less time now because of all the school activities and fall sports and everything, which is fun, but it's busy, but it's fun.
It is. It is. It's a short time that you're involved with these things with the kids. I have said it, probably said it directly to you or said it to other people about you, but you're my hero. You're super dad. With all the things that you do, I don't know how you find the energy or the time, really honestly, to give to the kids and your wife, and they are all very lucky.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, but I'm just hanging on. Just hanging on.
All right. Well, then you're not alone, because that's where I'm at, and I'm not near as busy. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to Going Nuclear. Glad you all could be here. We've got a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to talk a little bit of Guardians. We'll touch on the Cavs, some Cavs news, and then after the break, Jacob will join us, and we are going to talk about the Browns. We're going to talk about the current state of the 53-man roster, and we'll even give our game by game. We're going to do our predictions and see how badly we think the Browns are going to do this year, or if we think they might surprise us here. So again, welcome in, everybody. Glad you could join us this evening. So shall we get on with it, Mike?
Let's get to it.
All right.
Hanging on just like we are.
Exactly. So the Guardians, they did win today in extras. They came back in the ninth. Nolan Jones tied it up in the bottom of the ninth, the most unlikely hero. And then they win it. They walk it off in the 10th. Kyle Manzardo with the game-winning hit. The Guardians take 2 of 3 from the Rays, and they are hanging on by a thread to any chances of sneaking into the wild card. I'm pretty certain the division is far, far gone at this juncture. But, I mean, just as you watch this season unfold, the team, they hit that 10-game losing streak in at the end of June into early July. They turn it around, and they go into the All-Star break. They come out of the All-Star break, and they were surging. They closed to 5.5 games behind the Tigers, and they were within a half a game of the Yankees, or the third wild card spot, and they had lost going into today. They were 2-8 in their last 10. So now I guess it would be 3-7 in their last 10. That's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. So my question to you, and by the way, before yesterday, we had gotten shut out 3 games in a row, and we were up to how many innings? 24. I don't even know how many stinking innings we were up to without scoring a run. I mean, where did the season go wrong, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of stats, like you said, shut out 3 straight games. That hasn't happened since 1991. Nolan Jones's home run today was the first extra base hit in 5 games. So the team is 66-66. They're back at 500, and they're kind of playing like a 500 team. So I think they're right where they should be. I mean, during the 10-game losing streak, and during this last streak where they were 1-9, they're just unwatchable.
Oh, it's horrible.
Ball, the first 10-game losing streak, they're shut out 5 times. They're shut out at least those 3 times we know during this last one. And it's just just lose interest. I'm not going to watch this garbage. And they've won the last 2, which is great. They're surprisingly 4.5 games out of the wild card spot still. I don't think they can catch the Mariners, who, surprisingly enough, is the team we play next. Now watch them go out and surprise us and win the next 3 against the Mariners and, be a game and a half out. But yeah, I mean, I think this last rough stretch, this last losing streak just really showed us who they were. And, I would say they're you could argue they're actually overperforming by being a 500 club right now with the adversity they've had and the rookies that they have that they're trying to play.
Right. I mean, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. No, did the season start to go wrong before it even started? with last year's offseason move, or in the AL championship, we lose in 5 games. And the moves we made, we trade away Andres Jimenez, we trade Josh Naylor, and right now it's not looking like we won those deals.
No.
Well, there's a possibility that we're going to get some, like the pitcher you keep talking, Means could be good at some point, but we ended up with Luis Ortiz, and we'll get to that in a moment. I mean, he's suspended and wasn't performing that well anyhow. Josh Naylor is actually playing pretty well, doing his thing. We just put Carlos Santana, who we brought back for a third stint. We put him on waivers. So I guess, again, my question is this. I mean, did the season get lost before it even started?
It sure seems like that. No major additions, just subtractions. I mean, the front office usually does such a good job with their moves, and they think strategically and they think long term. And some of these trades actually may wind up being winners in the end. There's not much you can do about the Ortiz thing. That's just going to be a lost one. But what they don't do is they don't pair these long strategic, good, low key moves with any kind of big move that will put them over the edge. And you know what? The last one I remember is the Nick Swisher deal. Do you remember that back in 2013 at the deadline? They brought in like Nick Swisher to try to get him over the edge, and they signed him to some 4-year deal. And it just, it blew up in their face. It did not work. Other than that, besides bringing in 2016
Miller, and then also Encarnacion.
What else have they done to bring in a big name at the trade deadline or sign a big name in the offseason? I don't really recall. They just don't do that. So if they could combine a big name like here and there with what they do, these low key trades, I think that could put them over the edge, but they just never do that second part.
No, because they're so worried about money that they won't do it. And I'm going to get to that rant in a moment here about this ownership group. But it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy to me. At the trade deadline, we basically stood pat. We traded Shane Bieber. And then the kick in the crotch there is that he goes out and has a fantastic performance for the Blue Jays. We have no idea how Kyle Stevenson is going to be, or is it Kyle Stevens or Stevenson, the pitcher we got from the Blue Jays, how he's going to be in the future. But that's for the future. We didn't trade Quan. Do you think they didn't trade Quan because they intend to extend him, or because they weren't blown away by the offer? I have to tend to think it's because they weren't blown away by an offer, not because they actually are going to make a good faith effort to keep him here.
I mean, I hope it's because, we're struggling with finding a right fielder now. Can you imagine if we have to fill the left field job too? We still got him for another 2 years. If anything, you got to hold on to him at least through that last year. Like, cannot trade Quan. That was a great draft pick. Bieber, Bieber's going to be a free agent this year. What kind of move would it be if we brought him back? Will the Dolans, pay up, and he's going to cost a lot, but let's do it. When do we ever do those moves? Let's bring him back.
Right. They just, it defies logic. It really does. It defies logic, the moves that they make. What did Dolan say after the Encarnacion move? Something like, don't get used to it, or we're not going to do this again. What kind of a message is that? How do you expect fans to come to your ballpark and support your team when you give them the big middle finger and say, we're not going to do jack squat, and put out the checkbook to bring these guys here and keep this thing going and challenge for a World Series every year? Isn't the idea to win the game? I'm sorry, my head is going to explode here. But as Herm Edwards would say, you play to win the game. Well, what are the Guardians doing?
Not much. They get shut out. That's what they do.
Holy smokes. What do you think about, my brain, Parker Messick?
Yeah, well, that's been impressive. His 2 starts, and the guards are a pitching factory. This might just be the latest one. Who knows? I've never heard of the guy until this year.
I know,
And
I know. I mean, could he be a Bieber-esque type player? Because you remember when Bieber came in, it was like, "Hey, it's Bieber," and the jokes, "Hey, look, it's Justin Bieber." No, it's Shane Bieber, and he turns into the Cy Young Award winner. Um, he's been very impressive. He has been very impressive, and maybe with Saccone. Did Bybee get labeled an ace way too early?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, and he was given the number 1 role at the beginning of the season,
Right.
even though he didn't really earn it from what we saw last year. Didn't earn it in the Cactus League, and then he's showing this year that he's still a good pitcher. But man,
He's not an
he's
ace.
not the ace of the staff.
Absolutely not an ace. Then another possible point where the season went awry. Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase get suspended. I would say that's more so the Clase thing, but was that maybe the nail in the coffin when Clase, because now you're back into your bullpen, you don't have a guy to shut it down. Everyone thought Cade Smith was the answer. That's kind of dicey.
Yeah, I agree. And Cade Smith would be the perfect, eight inning hold guy. But now you don't have that either, so it creates kind of 2 holes in your lineup in your pitching staff without having him. So that's huge. That's why I kind of said I think they might be overperforming right now. All the things you mentioned, and we're still a 500 club. And what are we? Our run differential is like
minus 55.
55. And we're at 500. That's pretty amazing, actually.
Well, I bet if you took those really bad losses, that accounts for most of the run differential. There are a lot of close games in there that we've won, but we've had some bad losses. We don't have many lopsided wins, I bet, but we definitely have lopsided losses, and that's where you really see the run differential. And look, we're 33 and 32 at home, 33 and 34 on the road. You've got to be better than a 500 team at home if you want to have a chance to succeed. Okay, so you said we're 4.5 out of the last wild card spot, which the Mariners currently hold, and we are even at 4.5 behind with the Rangers. We're ahead in the loss column. They've got one more win. They've also got one more loss. And then Kansas City is at 68 and 65. Is it time to wave the white flag? Has the time of death been pronounced?
I think so. This is where I'd like them to bring up some of the younger guys too. Like, what are we doing still playing Nolan Jones? I know he just hit the homer today to tie it, and that was great. But man, he is just like
terrible.
He's just what he is. He's got a negative 1.2 WAR, wins above replacement. The only one worse on the team is Big Christmas at 1.2. So that's not great. Batting .215 with now 4 home runs. Like, come on, play somebody else. Play CJ Kafis over out there full time.
Yeah, we've got to do something, and maybe eventually. I know the plan keeps getting messed up because he can't stay healthy. He's made of glass. Chase DeLauder.
Yeah.
We got to see these young guys.
We do.
And at some point, I think that this goes to kind of my closing thought about the Guardians. Is the Guardians organization the most frustrating of the Cleveland franchises? Because they have a great front office and they know how to develop talent like pitchers. But at the end of the day, we've got ownership that is not willing to spend and wants to run this as if it's a business and not a sports franchise where the goal of your business is to win. Is this more frustrating than we know that they are more frustrating than the Cavs? And the Browns have their warts. So the question is, are the Guardians more frustrating than the Browns?
So, no. I'll say no.
Okay.
And I will say they are less frustrating than the Cavs. Too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go the opposite here because I think we're wrapped up right now in, they've not been playing good lately and those emotions are getting to us. But if you look like big picture, like last year during the playoffs, man, that was exciting. Like I loved going home watching those games. It was great. They've had 3 losing seasons out of the last 12. And so it's always enjoyable. It's frustrating, but it's enjoyable to watch
Okay.
them during the regular season, make the playoffs. The Browns, I can barely watch
Right.
every
I
Sunday.
understand. Right. And I understand that. Well, I guess my question is this, though. They do so well that if they actually tried, couldn't they do better? Isn't that even worse when you see a team overachieving and you're like, give them the tools for the job?
But at least they're doing well. The Browns don't even do well.
That's
And
true. I'm talking about for ownership versus ownership versus the results on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more frustrated with the guys that don't even try to put the money back into the business and give them a chance to win.
all right.
The Browns are clowns. They make mistakes every time. And I can't defend that. But these guys, you've got a great system, you've got a great front office, and you've done so much with so little, yet they won't put the money back in.
I guess if we're just talking isolating it straight to ownership, I would
Yes.
still rather have what the Guardians are doing than the mismanagement the Browns have. And
Okay.
you just throw guaranteed 5-year, give up your
Okay.
future contract to Deshaun Watson, which is, yeah, I would, man, that is more frustrating to me than a
Okay.
team that's trying to play small ball to win it than swinging, trying to swing big.
All right, that is fair enough. Well, we can't agree on them all, but that's okay. That's life. See, we can have these discussions and debates, and we'll talk about discussions, debates, and not being able to agree on anything when we probably want to get to the Browns. Let's move on here quickly. Still the offseason for the Cavaliers. Yesterday, we get the news that Max Strus underwent surgery to repair a Jones fracture in his left foot. First of all, have you ever heard of a Jones fracture?
Not until yesterday.
Yeah, neither had I. So, what is this with our guys and their toes and problems in their feet? I guess when you're a basketball player. Now, they didn't say exactly how it occurred, just that it occurred during the offseason workout. A Jones fracture, for any of you who might be interested, which, judging by the number of listeners, I don't think you are. It's a break of the bone that connects the pinky toe to the base of the foot. So they're saying he'll miss 3 to 4 months, or it'll be 3 to 4 months before he returns to basketball activities. So the first question I have for you, Mike, and also I should remind you, because I hadn't even I had kind of forgotten, he missed the first 2 months of last season with a right ankle sprain that happened right before the season started during workouts. How much of an impact do you think this will have on the Cavs in a vacuum? And then also taking into consideration that we don't know exactly when DG is going to come back from his offseason surgery for his big toe.
Yeah, it's going to have an impact for sure. Because who's going to replace him? I guess you got maybe a Dean Wade, maybe you got a Sam Merrill can maybe fill those roles. I'm not even sure how they're gonna do that, but I guess big
Hey,
picture.
you get the prize, Brad. You get the prize.
There we go. At least so let's say they start the season out and they lose a few games. They don't start out 15-0 like they did last year. Will that take the pressure off of them to try to be this perfect team, the best Cavs team ever, be the number one team in the East? Will it allow them just to play normal basketball? I don't even know if that's the right term.
Oh, I know exactly
And
what I
then,
know what you mean.
yeah, the pressure's off because there's not these high expectations. And then we get both DG and Strus back, halfway through the season, whenever that is, less wear and tear on them. They're more refreshed for the playoffs. I don't know. I'm trying to go glass half full here, but I
Yes.
do think it will have an impact for sure.
Yeah, I think that the fortunate thing for the Cavs is that the Eastern Conference is already, before the season is even starting, you have teams that are running on a deficit. I mean, you've got no Jason Tatum for the Celtics. You got no Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers, and then they traded away Miles Turner. No Dame Lillard he got traded or got released, waived, whatever in Milwaukee. I feel like, and you can never keep the guys healthy in Philadelphia. There are teams that are going to be up and coming and have potential. That we saw last year, like Orlando, potentially a Detroit could start making a move. We really don't know, but the East is wide open, and the opportunity is there for the Cavs. I'd say that I also will go with the glasses half full in that I would rather see these injuries and time missed at the beginning of the season than when it comes to crunch time and we're trying to get ready for the playoffs. And let me share this one thing with you that I had an interesting conversation this past weekend with someone. He is a strength and coach trainer, and he was at Indiana University with the men's basketball program under up until recently with Mike Woodson. And actually, he just moved here to Richmond. He is going to be the head strength and training coach for the women's basketball team at the University of Richmond. So I asked him something that we talked about, the issue of the Achilles tears, right?
Okay.
And it goes into the part of the load management thing. These guys playing so much basketball year round, whereas when we were growing up, you didn't have that necessarily. There wasn't this big AAU thing. You would play in high school. That was it. I mean, that was the big thing. There might have been some other stuff, but it wasn't near the way it is now. And as he was saying, there's not much you can do for the Achilles tendon. That it's not like a muscle that you can do. I mean, it's a tendon. It's got to wear out, the wear and tear, and you could do things to help a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's where some of this load management, I think, kind of comes in, and it's just crazy.
So you think it is just a long term, like this injuries probably started back in high school days when they were playing nonstop and just wore down that tendon through all these years of playing.
Yeah, it gets worn out, and I think they're also, and I don't know if I necessarily got into this, but my theory that you're pushing your body to this peak performance level and building all this muscle and doing all these things. Again, it is constant working out. Look at the shape these guys are in and their physique versus guys we watched in, like, even for us, the 80s and 90s. There's no comparison to the physical specimens that we see now versus what we watched back then.
Yeah.
No. So I don't know. I think if the Cavs have to have some injuries, let's get through it at the beginning of the season. See if some guys can step up. This is an opportunity. We're going to need a lot of contribution from DeAndre Hunter. We're going to need to see. I'd love to see Jalen Tyson step up a little bit. There will be some opportunities, and I can't wait till we get to Cavs season. It's not too far away, which is incredible that we are on the cusp. It's Labor Day weekend this weekend. Got the big college football really kicking off this weekend down in Columbus, Ohio State, and Texas. So, yeah, we are on our way. We are on our way, Mike. All right. So with that, let us take a quick moment here. First of all, I wanted to just remind you, if you're in Stark County and you're looking for all the best in auto solutions, make sure you hit up Horizon Audio. They have 3 convenient locations in North Canton on Whipple Avenue, in Canton on Tuscarawas Street, or in Alliance on South Union Avenue. Horizon Audio has been in business since 1989, and I'm proud to say that my friend Aaron Joseph has owned all 3 locations since 2016. So for all of your auto solutions, be sure to check out horizonaudio.com and check out all of their locations and all of their services that they offer, horizonaudio.com. Then we are going to take a moment here to get a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to start talking Cleveland Browns here, and I'm not going to cry about it, but also our resident expert, Jacob Greenberg, will join us here as we get into the Browns. You are tuned in to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land. And welcome back, everybody, to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land, here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fans First Sports Network. I'm Ethan Greenberg, and alongside of me is my co-host, Mike Rasinski, and now joining us is our resident Browns expert, Jacob Greenberg. Jacob, thank you for joining us from the penthouse upstairs. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing good.
You're surviving. It's that I'm sure you'll have something to talk about in the Going nuCLEar segment with that story you told me today. That may fit the bill. It might just fit the bill there. All right, guys. Well, we are just over a week away from NFL Week 1, or actually a week from today is Wednesday. So a week from tomorrow, the NFL season officially kicks off in Philadelphia as the defending Super Bowl champions will open up the season to try to defend their Super Bowl title. And then the Browns will be in action down in Huntington Bank Field when they take on the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. So I guess the first thing is that the 53-man roster, they cut it down. They made the cuts down to 53 yesterday. And my first question, I guess, Jacob, I'll go to you first on this. Did you have any surprises? Were there any surprises to you in terms of who made the 53, who didn't make the 53, and even to an extent, the guys that have so far been brought back on the practice squad?
I think I got 2 names. First is Deontay Johnson. It was, I guess, not as much as a surprise, but the fact that they kept Gage Larvadan over Deontay Johnson says something about Deontay.
Oh, it says a lot about Deontay Johnson. It says to me that he had a golden opportunity here and did not take advantage of it. And Gage Larvadan put in the effort, an undrafted free agent, making his mark. And I love it. I love it. I think that if you're going to have a wide receiver that's not going to produce a lot, I'd rather have a guy who's going all out and going balls to the wall.
Yep.
I mean, Mike, did you get a chance to take a look at the roster at all? Were there any moves that you saw that you were in any way shocked by, good or bad?
I thought I had 2 names.
Oh, I am sorry, Jacob. I apologize. Go for it, sir. Next name.
Other one, Dustin Hopkins. It wasn't a surprise, but the fact that they were actually putting pressure on Hopkins, I think is a good thing. I thought that maybe they were just going to go just see what Dustin Hopkins can do, see if he can get something back from that 2023 season. But
yeah,
they actually cut him and kept Andre Schmidt.
Yes. I think a lot of people were surprised that they actually pulled the trigger and did that. And now we've got a real piece of Schmidt out there.
Jeez. But
this Schmidt just writes itself. Mike, did you have any initial thoughts when you saw the roster, the 53-man roster, at least initially?
Yeah, the first one was the Schmidt deal with Hopkins being gone, especially, I mean, after that 2023 year he had. I know last year was bad. And then we signed him. I think we still owe him a few $1 million in a couple years.
Couple millions.
Yeah, whatever. And the other one, and this wasn't a cut down day, and I'm sure we're going to get into it, but trading Kenny Pickett as well. I mean, I guess it shouldn't have been surprising, but it did resolve the quarterback situation for a bit. And that's kind of what we expected, I guess, after he wasn't able to perform in the preseason.
Right. So the quarterback room got a little less crowded. Aiden O'Connell goes down with a broken wrist in Las Vegas, and that was the moment. That was the opportunity that the Browns were looking for. I think they figured it out I would say that they went into this season, this offseason, trying to reshape the quarterback room with an ill-conceived plan. They were trying to throw whatever they could and at the wall and see what would stick. Starting with the Kenny Pickett move, then Flacco, then they get Gabriel, and they're like, well, crap. Sanders is still out there. Let's take him. And, I mean, then it became clear. It became evident that's like, we can't have all 4. Would you want to sit down? Let me ask you this, Mike, as a guy who's probably played a few rounds of poker in his life. How would you feel if you were sitting at a poker table with Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski? Do you think they have good poker faces? Could you call their bluffs?
Well, listening to either one of those 2 press conferences, they're the most boring press conferences I think I've ever heard. I think I would just fall asleep at the poker table waiting for them to do anything. So, I will say this though. So let's see. If we pick up DTR now, since he got cut.
Now we did. We did get Bailey Zappi and added him to the practice squad.
I'm just saying we pick him up. So then we're back where we started. We traded a 5th-round pick to get Kenny Pickett and DTR. We traded Kenny Pickett for a 5th-round pick. And I guess now we have to figure out whoever wins this trade is whether we do worse because the Eagles get our 5th-round pick, or do the Raiders do worse than us?
And so we get their 5th-round pick.
Yeah, and then we will have won the trade, right? We're back where we started, but we now have a better draft pick.
Right. It's just crazy. Things always manage to work themselves out when you're talking about Browns quarterbacks, and I think that that's something that folks need to cool their jets on after the preseason and the hysteria that broke out on social media for anybody who dared say a negative word about Shedeur Sanders, or even if you didn't, the narrative was that the Browns were setting him up to fail and they were doing him dirty. They should release him and trade him and all this other stuff. They put in fourth string offensive line. They were playing against 4th stringers. Mm-hmm. They cut 4 of the 5 people. The defensive line for the Rams cut 4 or 5 people. He was doing all the things in Cleveland in week 3 of the preseason that he did at Colorado, with fading too far back in the pocket, and he just has work to do. It's not a referendum against him. It's not a plan against him. So everything seems to work out, and I wish people could cool their jets, because if they actually watch the Browns, which they don't, the ones who are yelling loudest, because they're not actually Browns fans, they would know that the Browns are going to end up playing multiple quarterbacks, and at some point, Shedeur Sanders is going to have an opportunity. He needs time to learn. He needs time to improve as a professional. I mean, Jacob, what do you think about the Kenny Pickett move, the quarterback room as it stands?
As the quarterback room, I think Dillon Gabriel, especially in that 3rd preseason game, proved that he deserved the backup job. And especially since Kenny Pickett never played in the preseason and was out for most of training camp, getting anything for him, I think that's a big win.
I think it is too. I mean, how many times as much as I'm not a giant Andrew Berry fan. I don't think he should get the laser eyes treatment as some people do in social media. But I also think he does make some savvy moves in moving people around and getting value out of them when you think there's nothing to get out of them. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, it's going to be interesting. We're going to see them all play. You know, the worst thing you could do, like to your first point about all this Shedeur madness too, if you're a Shedeur fan, the worst thing you want to do is see him start right away and go up against these first 6 teams we have to go against and just get throttled and destroy him like we destroyed Tim Couch, 25 years ago.
Right, and so many other quarter rookies, not on the Browns, on the Browns. If you set them up, that is setting them up to fail. What would you say to the argument of folks? Well, you set him up to fail because you had 4 quarterbacks and you split up the reps and you didn't give him an opportunity to play with the ones.
I mean, like you said, you're also playing against 4th stringers, so it is equal skill level. And if you can't beat other 4th stringers, then why should we think you should even have the opportunity to play with 1st stringers? That doesn't even make sense.
There is no logic to the arguments, and the people. I think I finally figured out who the entertainers were that Dillon Gabriel was talking about. It's the chowderheads who are out there and are hot take artists, and they want to get clicks.
Yeah,
and they're going to talk some nonsense, even though they know darn well they know better. They know better. I mean, I can't fathom on what earth these people are living in. And then when you tell them the truth, they say, we don't care about your poopy Browns. Good. That's my point. You never cared about our team. You don't know the history of our team. Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need this nonsense. And Shedeur will get his opportunity. And in fact, if you listen, most people are rooting for the kid to have a chance, but it's going to take time, and he will get that time. We've seen it. We know it too well here in Cleveland. And if they were an actual Browns fan and followed anything, they would know that as well.
And I will say, we're going to have to see how these two quarterbacks, Gabriel and Shedeur, do to the season, so we know if we have to draft another one next year.
Yep.
So just for that reason, I bet you we see both of the young guys.
Yeah, at some point we will. And we'll talk about that maybe as we go through the schedule. I mean, it's kind of crazy. The other room that I want to get, pick everybody's brain on, or at least let's go through it, the running back room. Right now, we've got Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. We just picked up on waivers Raheem Rocket Sanders. He was waived by the Chargers, and we still are waiting on some kind of finality on this Quinshon Judkins matter. Whether the holdup is because he and his agent and the Browns can't come to an agreement on a contract, or they can't come to an agreement on a contract because they're waiting for a ruling by the NFL as to whether they're going to suspend him, I guess, under the personal conduct policy. We know it's not going to be something due to criminal charges, but the personal conduct policy still comes into play. We just saw it took over a year for Rashee Rice of the Chiefs to receive any kind of discipline from the league. He is suspended for the first 6 games of this season. I mean, Jacob, what are your thoughts about the running back room?
I think, I don't know, you're leaning on a bunch of young guys, and I don't know if that's sustainable.
Well, I mean, do you think Ford's technically, by definition, I guess he's kind of a veteran?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think his game can translate with the renewed focus into the play action and the what we all refer to as the Stefanski offense?
I think he has a limit on the carries. If he is not a feature back, you can't give him 150 carries. It's just too much for him. But you can give him 100, and he'll be a great back. So I think it's just about finding the balance of how you use him.
Were you surprised that they did not keep Pierre Strong?
I was surprised, but I'm glad.
Okay, fair. I mean, Mike, to the extent of what you saw, what little you might have seen in the preseason, anything?
I mean, so much of the running game has to do with the offensive line too.
Right.
I guess I have hope that they're going back to this zone blocking scheme that they used when they were so successful a couple years ago. Ford is a veteran. Sampson showed promise, but he was a 4th-round pick, right? So there's a reason he's a 4th-round pick. That does have me worried. And I'm with you. I am curious why has Judkins not signed his contract yet? You'd think there must be some restriction on that, because after all the legal trouble, you think the first thing he'd want to do is like lock up a little bit of money.
But that might be on the Browns side of things.
Yeah.
The Browns might be saying, we want this figured out, because what if, and I'm hypothesizing, I have not heard anything of this nature. I don't know anything of this nature. What if part of the thing is he wants a fully guaranteed contract, which is what all the other like second rounders got, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, well, wait a second, you're going to miss 6 games this year due to suspension. How are we going to give you a fully guaranteed contract with this on the books? It seems to me that maybe this is a hypothesis. Maybe that's the deal. I don't know for sure, but I am certainly hoping that this gets resolved sooner rather than later, because the Browns desperately need him. I think if you give me the running back room of Judkins, Sampson, Ford, I feel like that's a pretty formidable trio to lead the way for the Browns. And I mean, look, and then what is it, Jacob? Is it Aiden Huntington is also the fullback, the de facto fullback?
I think he is.
What a story. What a story about that guy. The wide receiver room. Well, let's see. We got Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, we've got Jerry Jeudy. Is anybody else as worried about the wide receiver room as I am, or can we somehow survive with this ridiculousness?
Yeah,
I
no,
think it's fine. I think it's fine because you're gonna run a lot of 12-man personnel with Njoku and Fannin out there. So you only need two guys, Judy and Tillman. And if you need a third guy, Thrash has been looking great in preseason.
Yeah, the question is, I mean, are they going to stay? Tillman's issue has been staying healthy. Thrash, I mean, last year was his rookie season. I don't know, he had limited opportunities, and I can't even recall if he was injured last year. The guy I'm curious about is, well, a couple things. I'm kind of curious about Isaiah Bond. And as Mike points out, the Bond jet sweeps, let's go, because those are coming. He's going to be doing the Elijah Moore. You see him out there, jet sweep, jet sweep. They're calling out the play. It'll be great. I mean, I hope you're right, Jacob, but I'm like, and we did get this Malachi Corley guy to put him on the practice squad. He was a third rounder that the Jets had drafted. I guess he was last year's third round pick. That's crazy.
Yep.
Mike, I mean, do you have any hope for this for the wide receiver room?
Yeah, not really. And what worries me is if you can't establish the passing game too, that allows defenses to then focus on the running game. And we just talked about how that might be a problem as well. So they all interrelate. But having Jerry Jeudy and a bunch of no-name guys, really, I don't think that's going to intimidate anybody. So yeah, that does worry me a lot.
That is true. I think that's where the next room I wanted to talk, the tight end room. You've got Njoku, and if he could stay healthy, he did amazing with Flacco. It's crazy. I don't know if you've seen any of these videos. The rapport and just the camaraderie that he and Joe Flacco have is unreal. That's the type of relationship. You hear Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce talking about their relationship and knowing one and the other is what the move is going to be. I feel like that's an opportunity there for Njoku and Flacco and Harold Fannin. That was a nice touchdown, catch for a touchdown against the Rams this past weekend. And he got decked. He got leveled after he caught it and made the catch. I am loving life there. I think for me, I don't know you guys, I honestly think there is this possibility if Isaiah Bond with his speed can be the guy to take the top off and can be Tyreek Hill-esque, which is a very, very high level to be at, that could be huge for the Browns. If the play action is working and that guy can blow it up over the top, you might be in business. He can't be any worse than Anthony Schwartz.
Yeah, or is he going to be a Willie Mays Hayes?
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's a possibility. That is a possibility. And then Gage Larvidan. I love that guy. I love that guy. I'm hoping he gets an opportunity at some point because he's gritty. He's doing what needs to be done. And Jacob, do you have the numbers? What did we count? Like, we might have the Browns might have 13 rookies on this team.
13, yeah, I believe so.
That's unreal. That is unreal. And I mean, to have 13 rookies and feel like you still have a chance of winning a few games, you feel okay with that because in Browns years of the past when the Browns were dealing with talking about that many rookies, you're like, oh boy, we're hoping for this guy to be our savior. You sure about that? So I don't know. Offensive line. We got. I don't know what the update is. Posick went down with an injury in the preseason game against the Rams, but it's if he's back healthy, it's going to be Posick, Bitonio, Teller, Conklin, and Jones. I don't know. What do you feel about the depth of the offensive line, Jacob? Luke Whippler, Tevin Jenkins. We picked up KT Leviston, gave up a 2028 pick. Zach Zinter, Cornelius Lucas. What do you think about the depth there, Jacob?
Tevin Jenkins was holding his ground during the preseason, as well as Cornelius Lucas. So I like that. Luke Whippler, he's been with the team for a couple years. I think he'll be fine. Zach Zinter, he had some good moments. I think definitely the guy who you hope can replace Joel Bitonio. And then I'm not too educated on KT Leviston.
Yeah, I mean, he just joined the team, and
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, how much of a difference do you think not only the change in the offensive scheme, but the change in the offensive line coach going from Andy Dickerson, who was basically out as coach, even though it wasn't announced. In the middle of last year, Vrabel took over, basically. And now we've got Mike Bloomgren, who is he's a Bill Callahan disciple. How much of a difference can that make, as well as the play calling, Mike?
Well, it can't get much worse. It was so bad last year, so it has to be better. I mean, the depth, though, like I don't know much about these backups. I'm sure Jacob knows a lot more about them than I do, but that's what killed us last year too. Not only that, but when our guys went down, it didn't seem like we had the depth to really do an adequate job at replacing them. And I don't know. I mean, these names, I'm sure all the backup names for any team are a bunch of no names, but yeah, that does have me worried again because these guys are going to get hurt. They do. They always do.
They sure do. I mean, we've got to have guys stepping up, and maybe if they are being coached in a different way, a little bit tougher, because under Callahan, we were able to plug and play. I mean, remember the wild card game? You had Blake Hance come in the huddle. Hi, I'm Blake Hance.
That's right.
So they were able to do it, and if they could do it then, I would hope that they could do it now with this new coach and going back to that offensive scheme. I think that's at least a start of a recipe for success. The defensive line, of course, you've got Miles Speed Demon Garrett. We've got, let's see, Collins, Mason Graham, Alex Wright. I guess will be the projected starters.
I think Isaiah McGuire is taking opposite of Miles.
Okay. So you think he's going to be...
And I think Mike... Did you say Mike Hull or Malik Collins?
I said Malik Collins.
Yeah, I think Mike Hull will start if he's healthy, but that's...
If he's healthy. That may be a little bit a little bit down the road. It seemed like Mason Graham is off to a pretty good start. Everybody was talking very highly about him during training camp. And in his time on the field, you didn't hear anything real negative there. Seems like he's doing all right. Anybody have any argument there?
No, he's been amazing.
It's just depth again is what worries me. I mean, all of the defense, the starters look like we could actually have a really good defense all along, the whole line, everybody. But it's the guys behind them that worries me. And guys are going to go down.
Right. And I mean, the good thing is, Joe Tryon Shoyinka, he's a vet. Shelby Harris is a vet. He's going to be in there like that. Isaiah McGuire, if he's starting or not, he and Alex Wright, that's going to be all right. Mike Hall really started to play well last year before the injury to end his season. And that was kind of crazy. I mean, his season last year got messed up because of a domestic violence issue and a suspension. And so it just wasn't ideal. Linebackers, Carson Swessinger. Never even heard of that guy, and he's getting rave reviews.
He already has the green dot, and he's since day one, ever since blanking on their name, the guy who retired, Jordan Hicks.
Yes.
Ever since Jordan Hicks retired, Schwessinger's had that had the green dot, and he's been playing great with it.
Yeah, to be a signal caller as a rookie, that is very, very impressive. But I think depth there, guys, because after him, you got Diabate, Devin Bush, Jerome.
I think you have Mamu Diabate and Devin Bush as the other starters. Behind them, you have Jerome Baker, Easton Mascarenas Arnold, and Jarek Bernard Converse, who we just got today. What is the Browns with the depth hyphenated last names?
Yeah, the East-West Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with all the hyphenated last names. All right, maybe then, okay, let me throw this out there to scare you. Defensive backs, the secondary.
That's where I'm scared.
After
front
Denzel,
seven.
Yeah, after Denzel and Newsome, if one of those guys goes down, is the sound I'll be making, as I'm pooping over it. I mean, Cam Mitchell didn't look great. Miles Harden, okay, and this Bernard Converse guy. I don't know. I'm not feeling great about the defensive backs. That Martin Emerson injury was a big one.
Yeah, we better get a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Yes, and that's exactly right. You're exactly right, Mike. Because if you get the pressure on the quarterback doesn't have time to sit back there and plant a garden and wait for it to grow and then pick the flowers and then look up and decide to throw. He's going to be under pressure, and that they absolutely have to get to the quarterback quickly. We know Garrett can do it, but somebody else has got to help him so that if they have to double team him, somebody else is getting in there. We've got to have that consistently. The strong safeties, free safeties. We've got Delpit. He needs to have a big year. Ronnie Hickman. I mean, he tries real hard.
I mean, all you have to do is just sit back there and babysit. He's not asked to do much. He's just, make sure no guys go to the end zone, and then the last guy you need to tackle, or the last guy who needs to tackle on one play.
You don't want to see the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other because they done screwed up.
That I do not want to see that.
We saw too many guys running wide ass open in recent years. Rayshawn Jenkins. We've got Donovan McMillan and not Donovan Mitchell back there, as Mary Kay Cabot accidentally had a typo there in her post on social media. But Donovan Mitchell played into the joke. He's like, "All right, let's go Browns." That was great. that was fantastic. So I don't know. And then at special teams, I really didn't get into this too much, but I mean, we kind of covered it a little bit earlier. The fact we still got Corey Bojorquez, and I'm confident with him. And then we've got Andre Schmidt instead of Dustin Hopkins. Let's pray we are not having those moments every time we go to kick. I mean, I can't believe I have to cover my eyes for every extra point. It just shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't. And kickers are so hard to predict too. Like this guy went undrafted, cut by the Bears or whatever. But some of those guys end up becoming the best kickers. Like you just don't know. And the guys we draft in the 4th round to be a kicker just fizzle out. So I guess I can't argue with the pick of what they did.
No, I'm fine with it. I really am. I think Dustin Hopkins, he had the yips. He was in his head. There was no fixing him. Not here, at least. I feel bad for him, and I think he realized that. I don't think he has any hard feelings about it either. I mean, it wasn't like they stuck by him for quite a while, and it just was clear it wasn't getting right.
Do you think that hamstring injury had anything to do with his problems?
It could have been. It really screwed things up because you think about the mechanics. Jacob, you practiced a lot of kicking last year. I mean, I would have to guess the whole mechanics could be off if you have an injury to either leg, really.
Yeah. It's a very mechanical. It's just every little thing's got to be right.
Yeah. So if you start to overcompensate, I'm sure you could compare it to like golfers. And if something just isn't right, they could throw everything off. So, all right. Now, here's going to be the toughie, guys. Let's do our schedule predictions here. Let's see who's got what. So we'll go around the room here, and we're going to start off with week 1. Browns host the Bengals. The Bengals played their starters. They finally got Trey Hendrickson in. It appears that Joe Burrow is healthy. Great offense, terrible defense. Jacob, Browns versus Bengals, win or loss?
I'm going to go with a win, and my reasons are Bengals, they usually start slow every season. Now, it could change because they actually played their starters in the preseason, but, does that really help? Maybe a little bit, but I think they're going to continue to start off slow. So, and then we usually split the series with the Bengals, so it just makes sense to give us the home game.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Mike, what do you think? Win or loss against the Bungles?
Well, first of all, I'd like to remind everybody that we were preseason champs yet again, 3-0.
Yes.
Two, I want to go down the ESPN matchup predictor. This will
Oh,
be
okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. What you got?
64% chance that the Bengals will win, according to ESPN. But I'm going to go with the Browns win as well, because this also gives Browns fans a chance to get overly optimistic just to be crushed again later in the season.
Yes.
Let's start off on a high note just so we can go down from there. So,
that is a fantastic point. I also have them with a win. I think that it's mostly because the Bengals defense is putrid. And then the fact that Trey Hendrickson is just coming in now, they finally get that. The whole Shamar Stewart thing. They're just not good. They don't have a very good defense. Their offense is going to be potent, but Myles Garrett does pretty well against the Bengals and gets to Joe Burrow. They've got a fighter's chance there, so we'll go for it. We move on. Week 2 at Baltimore, those disgusting rat birds, as they will celebrate their 30th anniversary of becoming a franchise and crap on the Browns in the city of Cleveland. In Baltimore. Jacob, week 2 at Baltimore, win or loss?
Loss. They're just such a good team right now, and at the Ravens, just I hope we win. Though.
We stink.
I hope we win, and Joe Flacco throws for 10 billion yards, just despite the Ravens.
I like that, Mike. Win or loss?
ESPN says Baltimore 78% chance to win. I'm going with ESPN on this one. We don't have a chance.
Yes, I also agree there. I will be angry, but the Ravens will destroy us. Lamar Jackson could probably go and sit 2 of those 4 quarters in the bathroom, and then, be good. Well, let's see. Watson won there with an injury, so, who knows? But, yeah, I'm going to go with a loss there. I don't think we've got that kind of voodoo magic, although anything is possible. Expect the unexpected. All right, we're going to go on. Week 3, Browns back at home, taking on the Green Bay Packers. Now, Jordan Love suffered a bit of an injury during the preseason, and it is a home game. So I don't know. I mean, the Packers are a very good team. They're going to compete in the NFC, in the playoffs, and everything. Jacob, win or loss, week 3, home versus the Packers?
I'm going to give us the loss here because this was a playoff team from last year. And then they have a good defense. This is truly a good defense.
All right, fair enough. Mike, what do you got, win or loss? What did the ESPN predictor come up with there?
ESPN has Green Bay at 64%. I'm also going with a loss. I just don't see it happening. There's not enough good vibes to carry us past the Packers, even at home.
All right, I don't know. I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going with a win over the Packers. I just feel like they're a bit overhyped. It's a home game. That's the where I'm going with it. Mike from the UK, he's got that as a 1-score loss. I could see that as well. I think it's going to be closer than some people might think. But I'm going to give us the benefit of the doubt here in thinking that the Browns might pull that one off. Week 4, they travel up to Detroit, Ford Field, to take on the Lions. Jacob, win or loss?
No surprise here. I'm going to give them the loss. Number 1 seed in the NFC, another incredible defense. Just not really much of a chance in my eyes.
No, I don't know. Mike, where are you going with that?
ESPN says 75% chance that we'll lose, and I agree with them.
And I am also going to join the train, a clean sweep there of losses. All right, week 5, we go to across the pond. Mike will be there. Mike in the UK will be there in attendance as the Browns take on the Minnesota Vikings from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where J.J. McCarthy this is really his rookie season, as he was injured all of last year, didn't play, so this is really his rookie season. They will already be they will have played, I believe, the week before. Get my head correct. Are they not playing the week before, Jacob, in Dublin?
No, they can't. I know. I think they play the week after. Let me check. I can check real quick.
All right. Well, I mean, that being said, I mean, just win or loss, what do you think about the chances against the Vikings?
This might, I don't know. Let's see. It says September. It is,
What do we
I
got
don't
for
know.
the Vikings schedule? The Vikings schedule.
What's I
Well,
That's
he's looking that up. I'm gonna jump in and say a
yeah.
loss again, regardless if they play overseas.
they
ESPN.
are playing overseas the week before. They are taking on the Steelers.
All right, so that's just going to help them. ESPN says 64% chance the Vikings will win. So far, ESPN doesn't have us winning a game. I'm also going with a loss.
You're going to go with a loss there. All right, Jacob, what did you come out with that?
Well, I'm actually going to go on the opposite. I'm going to think they win, and my reasons are uncertainty around JJ McCarthy. That's the main factor here. Is JJ McCarthy could be great, he could be awful. We don't know.
Right. I that is the entire reason. I am also going with a win. Mike over across the pond, Mike in the UK, he says a win in London. So I'm going to go with a win there. Then the Browns travel back across the pond and they do not take a bye. They go right into Pukesburg and will take on the Steelers in week 6. Jacob, win or loss, it is a house of horrors.
Oh, this is just has loth written over it, all over it. We didn't take the bye week here, and I think that was a good decision. If you're gonna put us the Steelers, I mean, we're going to Pittsburgh. We're going to probably lose that game either way.
Right.
Just free bye week.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Mike?
Yep, ESPN has Pittsburgh 67% chance of winning. I also agree with that. It's just, I mean, after the jet lag and everything too, no chance.
All right, this is great. But what if Aaron Rodgers stinks?
Still no chance. We'll also have a quarterback that stinks.
Oh, okay, good. All right, week 7. Oh, and I guess not. I have that as a loss as well. Week 7, we return home, take on Miami. Who knows if Tua is going to be healthy or not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've had their moments for sure. But week 7 home, Miami. Jacob, win or loss?
I'm gonna give us the win because I'm not sure what are the Dolphins. I
Fair
don't know
enough.
if they will be. I don't know if they'll be good, and will Tua be both healthy? And if he's healthy, will he even be good?
Fair enough, Mike.
All right, just to keep things interesting, I'm going to go with a loss. 54% chance the Dolphins will win. So still
we're very
0
close.
wins from ESPN.
We're
It's still the closest we've gotten.
It is.
But I think by this point we'll be so demoralized that they'll already start giving up on the season, and it's another loss for the Browns.
Oh, now that's interesting. Now I'm going to get to that in a second. The next week. Okay.
What's your pick? What's your pick for Miami?
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually am going with a win because I don't have much confidence in Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins. If we were playing in Miami, guaranteed loss. But at home, you never know. I think we've got a fair shot. I think there's a fair chance.
Did we not learn anything from our predictions from last year?
All right. I'm not as zealous as I was last year.
Last year we actually had hope coming off of a playoff loss.
Right. We did have a reason. Yeah. But I'm trying to be reasonable. Like, I could see a lot of these games going either way. I'm giving us the benefit of the doubt for fun, for funsies here. All right, the next week we are at New England to take on Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots and Drake May. Jacob, win or loss, week 8 at New England?
I'm going to go with a win. My reason, Drake May, this is going to be his first time playing against Myles Garrett, so he's got an adjustment period. He's got to get the ball out, but he's the thing with a lot of young quarterbacks, until they play a really elite edge rusher, they might not be quite aware of timing against very good players. Like, usually get maybe 2.5 to 3 seconds. If 3 seconds, if you have a really good O line, I don't think other than the guy they drafted, Will Campbell, I don't think that offensive line's that good. And then Myles Garrett on top of it gives you max 2.5 seconds to throw. And then, as I was alluding to, the roster outside of May and Diggs is not the best looking.
Trevion Henderson.
Trevion Henderson, but outside of that,
no, they're pretty terrible. Mike?
Well, Vrabel already has all our secrets, so what chance do we have? I'm going with another loss. ESPN also has us losing with only a 20% chance to win that game.
This is ridiculous. This is great. Okay, I actually think we can win that game. Mike thinks we can win that game.
So you guys have us at 500 right now, 8 games in.
Jacob has it as 500. I've got us at 5-3.
Oh my! What are you doing, Ethan?
I don't know. And so now we go into the bye, and the bye we all win during the bye.
No, we lose the bye. I think we lose the bye.
Oh, dang it! Oh God,
Miles will get arrested for speeding or something.
Yes, that's going to be the prediction we need to have on our bingo card. What terrible thing will happen to the Browns during the bye week that will make us losers?
Yeah.
Okay. So week 9 bye week, right smack dab, basically in the middle there. Week 10, we are at the Jets, currently being led by Justin Fields. They've got their own issues. A new head coach there. Jacob, win or loss at the Jets?
I'm going to take a loss here. Now, I believe that Justin Fields could have a surprising breakout year. I think that if they just really let him play to his style, he can play well. Just if you give him give him the personnel around him, give him the right style of offense, I think he can be good. And also, it's just going to be, Browns are going to have a couple of losses to a bunch of to some not good
teams they're not supposed to lose to is what you're saying.
Exactly, and I think this is one of them.
Okay, Mike.
So ESPN has the Jets surprisingly favored 53%, but I will give the Browns their second win here, coming off the bye, and like Mike from the UK said, they are the Jets.
The Jets are a dumpster fire. That's not an original to me. I also went with a win there just because they are the Jets, and I don't have much faith in them. I like what Jacobs, your theory about Justin Fields. I feel like the rest of the team they got to show me something. I don't know. It's kind of like if everyone looks at the Browns on their schedule, I kind of see the Jets in the same fashion at this juncture. They are really trying to figure it out there. They've been a mess for just as long as the Browns have. Then we come home week 11, take on the Ravens again. In the second matchup there, the home and home. Jacob, win or loss versus Baltimore at home. Will the sun shine down? Will Jim Donovan blind a receiver? Will Jameis Winston reemerge and get what is it? What did he say?
God relieve him from all the pick sixes.
Yes, that's it.
Yes. Well, and then will Kyle Hamilton drop another interception to win the game?
Yeah, exactly. No, what do you think? Win or loss?
I think we're gonna win, and it's usually every season we seem to get a surprise victory against Baltimore at some point.
So normally it's because Lamar Jackson is injured. Mike, win or loss there, Mike?
Loss. ESPN says 71% chance Ravens winning, and yeah, I mean it's the Ravens. We're not gonna win that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a loss there as well. I am. I'm not so confident about that unless we give food poisoning to Lamar Jackson, and then we also have someone lock him in the bathroom like you're in the freshman dorms or something like that. He'll still manage to beat us. The next week, we travel to Las Vegas. Will we see former Cleveland Brown quarterback Kenny Pickett? Or will it be Geno Smith? Jacob, we haven't won in the Pacific time zone in forever. Will the Browns win in Las Vegas against Geno Smith and Pete Carroll and Davante Adams? Or did they get back Davante Adams and Amari Cooper? Or is it just
no? It was Davante Adams. Then he went to the Jets.
He went to the right. Somebody came back. Did they just get Amari? Somebody came back.
No, they got Amari Cooper back.
Yeah. Okay, I'm right. All right, that's it. Jacob, win or loss?
I'm gonna give a loss. Raiders roster is surprisingly good looking for what it is, but this to me is the big toss-up game. I think it depends on quarterback play, and I think that's what it is for a lot of these games. There's a lot of close games. like Jets. If we have good quarterback play, we can beat the Jets. But
Yeah.
so kind of just take half and half. You have like 4 games that are really up to quarterback play. You give the Browns 2 wins, the Browns 2 losses, balances it out.
Fair enough. Mike, what does ESPN predictor say?
59% for the Raiders, but I'll go with the upset and have the Browns win this one.
I am also being Captain optimistic. Everybody can hit a blackjack every once in a while. Someone's playing at the craps tables. I think the Browns might get a win in Las Vegas. I think that Pete Carroll will help them kind of get things straight there. Geno Smith certainly is solid, barring any phantom holding calls and I missed kicks there. I think we might be all right. I'll go with a win. Then we come home to take on the San Francisco 49ers. The last time the 49ers were in town, PJ Walker helped lead the Browns to a win in relief in 2023. Yeah. So I don't know, Jacob, win or loss here against the 49ers at home?
A loss. I think this will be a bounce back year for San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I think this might be one of the games where the secondary gets exposed, mainly that slot corner position, because people are sleeping on the 49ers receivers. You have obviously Brandon Ayuk, but then you have Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. Jawan Jennings has been looking good a couple years ago, especially in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. He was looking good. And then last year, Ricky Pearsall looked good. So I think that is an underrated receiving core.
Fair enough. And Kyle Shanahan will have a PowerPoint presentation as to why the Browns suck, and he should be out of his contract. Mike.
ESPN, 62% 49ers. Browns lose.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a loss as well. I just can't foresee them overcoming those obstacles. But week 14, Tennessee, the Titans come to town with a rookie quarterback, Cam Ward. What do we think there? Jacob, win or loss versus the Titans?
I'm going to go with a win because of Cam Ward being a rookie and just the team around him.
Oh, they suck.
Yeah, really bad team.
Mike?
This is the only game I think ESPN has the Browns favored at 52%. So I will go with ESPN and also predict a Browns win.
I am as well. I give them the W. Week 15 at Chicago, at the Bears, a new head coach there, Caleb Williams. Let's see. They've surrounded him with a lot of talent in the draft. Jacob, win or loss at the Bears?
I'm going to go with a loss. I think this is going to be a better year for Caleb Williams. And then, as you were saying, much improved in the offseason and bringing in a new coach.
All right. Fair enough. Mike?
Ben Johnson.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
ESPN has the Bears winning 67% chance. I'm also going with the Browns loss.
All right, I'm going with a win. I don't like Caleb Williams. I think he's a crybaby. All right. Week 16 versus Buffalo at home. Josh Allen and the Bills have been on the doorstep but cannot get over it. Now we're going to have an automated measurement system in place. Can they get to the Super Bowl? Jacob, win or loss versus the Bills?
Just a loss.
All right.
It's a really good team. And then my other note here, I have Josh Allen.
Yeah, that pretty much says it. Mike?
68% chance the Bills will win. I also agree. So the Browns will lose that game.
Yeah, I'm going with a loss there. I don't think we're going to get a snowstorm like we did back in 2007 so that Phil Dawson could win us a game in a field goal shootout. Next week, so I'm with a loss. Then we have the second half of our home and home with Pittsburgh. Week 17, our home finale. Jacob, home versus the Steelers. What you got?
I got to win. Aaron Rodgers, he's old.
All right. Fair enough.
And then we also usually split the series.
All right. ESPN, 61% Steelers. The Browns will lose this game too.
All right. I'm actually going with a win there just because they do normally split with the Steelers. And I feel like they have some kind of a voodoo there to at least steal one game. And it's really going to depend on how the season is going for the Steelers at that point. We may not even be watching Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? They'll be like, maybe Will Howard will have recovered from his thumb injury or something. Then he'd probably come in and beat us. So who knows? Last game of the season at the Bengals, at Cincinnati. Jacob, win or loss to close out the season?
I'm gonna go with a loss, but this is another toss-up game
Yeah,
because
gotcha.
are the Bengals gonna play starters? Are they not? And then a loss because we usually split the series.
All right, Mike.
Yep. ESPN says 69% the Bengals will win. I think we won't be playing any starters either because the season will be over. So we'll lose this also. We'll have nothing to play for.
Oh, Shador Sanders will be playing probably.
Yep. So again, that's why it'll be a loss.
So, all right. I ended up with 10-7, which is ridiculous.
What?
How did you get to 10-7? I thought I was being optimistic with 7-10.
Yeah, I don't know. I ended up being ridiculous. Mike, you went with a strong 4-13.
Oh, I thought I only gave him 3 wins. I overestimated, I think.
Yeah, you got Cincy week 1, right?
Okay.
You've got the Jets in week 10, the Raiders in week 12, and then the Titans in week.
All right, let's do it. I've locked in 4 wins.
4 wins. All right. I got 10. Jacob, what did we end up with you? Did you end up with 9?
7-10 with going 3-3 in the division.
All right. You went 7-10. You guys are both smarter than I am. But also, guys, this year, we definitely need to do, like, if we can, we're going to have to put $1 on a on like a however many game parlay. You know, since last year, Jacob hit all 16 one week and I hit 14 one week. I feel like at some point, one of us has, we got to do it right. One of these times.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And the only, this is going to be a hell of a season. I can't wait to see how this unfolds because one way or another, either A, they're going to do well, we're going to figure out the quarterback, and we're going to be pumped up going into the draft, or, because we'll have done really well, or we'll have stunk up the joint. We will know that we don't have our quarterback on the roster. We're going to be picking high again, and we're going to have our pick and the terrible Jaguars pick to try and figure out the quarterback with all the guys coming out. So with that, Jacob, why don't you tell everybody what has you going nuclear?
All right, I got a story from school. So, my school, the principal, about last week, right? We had a meeting, right? And just one of the points, I'm just gonna take this has nothing to do with the story, or I mean, it kind of does. I'm just gonna take something and I want you to remember it for later. The principal says that if you ask to go to the bathroom, teacher says no, and you state it's an emergency and they still say no, you are allowed to get up, exit the classroom, and as long as you go straight to the bathroom and straight back, the teacher will write you up, but they'll check the cameras and they'll clear you. So now I'm sitting in Algebra 2, and we just got back from lunch, and kid raises their hand. Hey, can I go to the bathroom? Why didn't you do it during lunch? I didn't, but it's an emergency. Can't go. All right. So he waits a little bit. We're doing notes, right? And then we're at the end of the notes basically. He asks again, "Can I go? Did you finish the problem?" No. Finish the problem and then you can go. He finishes the problem. Can I go? Well, it's past the 10 minutes rule. You can't go to the bathroom in the last 10 minutes, and we're 8 minutes from the end of class, so you cannot go. He's gone. He leaves, which he was allowed to do. So he goes, and he uses the bathroom. He comes back, and unfortunately for him, he ends up taking his stuff, leaving the classroom like 2 minutes early. So he's gonna get in trouble for that. But everything else, he was completely in the right.
How are you going to stop a kid from going to the bathroom? Am I right, Mike, that like if in any other circumstance that you could be like, you are depriving me of being able to use the bathroom?
I can't even believe that was even discussed at a principal's level meeting. Like, it just seems like common sense to me.
It does. I don't understand this. Like, what kind of a ridiculous teacher is this?
Yeah.
Well, that would have me going nuclear. Mike?
I agree. What has me going nuclear is that you predicted the Browns to win 10 games this year. And I'll just leave it at that.
All right, that is fair. All right, well, I'll close this out here. as I said as we were discussing, talking about the ridiculousness of the quarterback room for the Browns and the overreactions of people about who was playing, when they were playing, who got what reps, and so on and so forth, and the handling of that. The reactions of fans of, let's just say, a player versus a team. And in this situation, we're talking about the very loyal fans of Shedeur Sanders. The ridiculousness that the Browns are trying to sabotage him when their jobs are on the line is asinine. Everything about these arguments is absolutely asinine. And I'm sorry. I don't care to have you. Please stay off our airwaves. Stay out of our mentions. If you want to root for the kid, that is great. We love to add the fans. Beautiful. But this just doesn't even make sense. This is not to try and suggest that the coaching staff is somehow setting up this guy to fail to try and teach him a lesson or whatever it is. When these guys are coaching for their jobs and the GM is his job's on the line. Honestly, they have to win games. He will get an opportunity at some point. So for all of the very fine people that are very supportive of Shedeur Sanders, and I will go out and I will say it, I like Shedeur Sanders. I think he has a higher ceiling than Dillon Gabriel. But can we please be realistic? Can we stop with the insanity? I'm Suzanne Powder here. Stop the insanity. The Browns they're not trying to hose anybody. And he will get an opportunity. It is quite clear that he has work to do. So does Dillon Gabriel. Joe Flacco, although I think he will stay healthy at some point because, Mike, as you are predicting in your record, they will say enough. We need to see if Gabriel and or Sanders can be our future, and they will get their opportunity. And so ridiculous fans, whether here or elsewhere, has me going nuCLEar. So, Mike, thank you very much. As always, I appreciate the extended episode here as we had to get through the very important detail of going through the Browns schedule. Jacob, thank you for hopping on and dropping some knowledge on us. And so until next time, for Mike Rasinski and for Jacob Greenberg, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and you've been tuned in to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land, a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network.